Sarah Palin spent last Saturday turning our nation back to God and restoring honor in Washington, D.C.
I don't read some of it because I know that those who are impotent and limp and gutless, and then they go on,
I feel like I'm watching Republican Mean Girls, the movie.
Let's smoke all night. 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 Let's smoke all night.
An Oklahoma state legislator is coming under criticism for a speech in which she says homosexuals are destroying the United States and are more dangerous than terrorists. Republican State Representative Sally Kern.
Studies show that no society that has totally embraced homosexuality has lasted more than, a few decades. So it's the death knell in this country. I honestly think it's the biggest threat, even that our nation has, even more so than terrorism or Islam, which I think is a big threat.
Let's smoke all night. Let's smoke all night. Let's smoke all night. Let's smoke all night.
Today on the steps of the U.S. Capitol, health reform was metaphorically killed by a throng of Tea Party protesters who gathered at the foot of the Capitol to protest against it. Today's Kill the Bill, Defeat Health Reform at Any Cost rally was called by Republican Congresswoman Bachman of Minnesota.
I want people in Minnesota armed and dangerous on this issue of the energy tax because we need to fight back. Thomas Jefferson told us having a revolution every now and then is a good thing.
The only way they're going to listen is if real freedom-loving Americans come here to Washington noon on Thursday, look at the whites of their eyes of their members of Congress and say, don't you remember? I told you don't take away my health care.
Come look at the whites of the eyes of your congressman. Where do we get that phrase from again?
There's a movement of what is occurring, and part of that is this whole philosophical idea of multicultural diversity, which on the face sounds wonderful. Let's appreciate and value everyone's cultures. But guess what? Not all cultures are equal. Not all values are equal.
Let's smoke all night. 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 Let's smoke all night.
Harry Reid's Tea Party and challenger Sharron Angle. She just hits the bullseye every time, doesn't she? She has been ducking the media ever since she won her primary back in June, and really for good reason. Because every time she shows up on TV, she ends up saying stuff like this.
What do you say then to a young girl? I mean, I'm going to place it as he said it, though. I mean, when, a young girl is raped by her father, let's say, and she is pregnant. I mean, how do you explain this to her in terms of wanting her to go through the process of having the baby?
I think that two wrongs don't make a right, and I have been in the situation of counseling young girls, not 13, but 15, who have had very at-risk, difficult pregnancies, and my counsel was to look for some alternatives, which they did, and they found that they had made what was really a lemon situation into lemonade.
Well, I'm pro-responsible choice.
Right.
There's choice to abstain, choice to do contraception.
Is there any reason at all? Is there any reason at all for an abortion?
Not in my book.
So in other words, rape and incest would not be something?
I'm a Christian.
Right.
And I believe that God has a plan and a purpose for each one of our lives, and that He can intercede in all kinds of situations, and we need to have a little faith.
thing about mama grizzlies, they're very, very protective of their own people.
Do you love your freedom?
You know, these are the type of cheap, underhanded, unmanly tactics that we've come to expect from Obama's favorite Republican, Mike Castle. You know, I released a statement today saying, Mike, this is not a bake-off. Get your man pants on.
Are you saying, Francisco, tonight that there is no reason taxpayers in Texas, whether they're Latino or whether they're American?
I was going to have a few comments on the other Democratic presidential candidate, John Edwards, but it turns out that you have to go into rehab if you use the word faggot.
Oh my God. This is a train wreck.
I don't know how many Americans really identify with the grizzly image.
The Bible says that lust in your heart is committing adultery. So you can't masturbate without lust.
She talked about going out and watching the bears, and there are studies to show that children do better in a two-parent family, man and woman.
I think the people that Barack Obama has been associating with are anti-American by and large.
If you're that hypersensitive about color and don't have a sense of humor, don't marry out of your race.
The news media should do a penetrating expose.
And the caller before him referred to people who get AIDS as victims. It's that kind of spinning with words and manipulating words that empowers the bias when it comes to AIDS. There are types of cancer that no behavior will directly make you contract cancer. It's just an act of God.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
What's wrong with being the party of no? We're the party of hell no.
Them to ask the questions we want to answer so that they report the news the way we want it to be reported. And
don't retreat, reload.